Alright, whoa. Alright, hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of a replay between Chita Prime and HayPro here on Metalopolis. Gonna go ahead and continue the game once again. We do see a Twilight Council finish warping in, and Broodlords now trying to continue to push their way out. Immortals and Zealots cleaning up many of those Broodlings. And now those Broodlords are going to be in trouble as those Stalkers are trying to focus fire on many of those units. Hydra is now getting underneath them as well. And now HayPro going to lose much of his attacking force here as the army of Chita Prime is just in a dominant position as the majority of the army of Zerglings are just arriving to the party very, very late. That is going to be a problem as those Zerglings now try to come in and swarm. There are just so many health bars that I can't see anything. And now more Zealots trying to come in as well. And now Chita Prime, just in a little bit of an advantage, but the Zerglings simply just ignoring that. And very nicely done, blocking any way to just walk up that ramp. And now trying to take down some of those units. And now perhaps we'll be able to deal more damage. We do see that the Crackling upgrade has been researched, but those Zerglings do not have any claw attack upgrades. And I believe that the Nexus will get taken down. Now you can see how fast the damage is being dealt. And now those Zerglings are moving on to a different target. Production-wise, 38 more Zerglings, 9 Ultralisk now currently being produced as well, as those Zerglings look to deal more damage, perhaps looking for another target somewhere else. Overlord sitting over here, perhaps even a Nidus network onto this location would be able to deal a lot of damage, taking down the Forge and this one Cybernetics core. Back over here, Stalkers now on the move once again. Production-wise, another Nexus currently being warped in here as Chita Prime needs to get another base up. Ultralisk now trying to come in, but the Ultralisk are going to get chomped up on themselves a little bit as they have no real room to run and hide. They're just going to get choked up by themselves, trying to get next to each other, trying to get within melee range. Zealots doing a great job just soaking up much of that damage as Ultralisk do not deal that much damage towards Zealots as they are not armored units, so they only deal 15 damage per splash attack instead of 35. We now finally have the level 1 weapons upgrade for the claw attack, so now those Ultralisks will be able to perhaps deal a little bit more, but the Ultralisk, even with that 5 upgraded armor to a base of 6, unable to take the focused fire from those Immortals. More Psystorm now coming in as well, and now transfusions coming in from Queens. So HayPro saving up some of those Queens, and those critical transfusions are absolutely critical as the armor on that Ultralisk makes 100 points of damage very difficult to deal. And now HayPro with one Ultralisk looks like it will able to at least push back this Stalker army. And now in comes a new wave of Ultralisk coming back in, coming back down the ramp, and now those Stalkers are like, oh my gosh, I gotta get out of here. Ultralisk now trying to give chase. They do walk faster on creep, and now are giving chase to those Zealots. The Zealots do not have the Zealot leg upgrades, and that poor High Templar most likely will get taken down as well. Ultralisk trying to get closer, able to get another splash attack, swipe attack there, getting down more and more of those units, and the last Zealot will be able to return home, telling his kids about how he was able to outrun, 5 Ultralisks, and yeah. Anyways, back over here, Ultralisk now returning. The army of HayPro mainly consisting of Ultralisks at this point, 14 Ultralisks, and still trying to mine even more minerals. You can see HayPro has a very strong economy, still at 1,400. Meanwhile, Chita Prime sitting only at 1,000, and it will be a little bit of time before Chita Prime is able to mass up a large enough counterattack force. I do not see any Void Rays in production. Void Ray would be absolutely useful in addition to these Archons, and in comes more Psystorm. Those Ultralisks are just like, I'll walk through it, but now are trying to finally walk up this ramp. Force fields won't stop them, and Psystorm will only start slightly damage them as this one Ultralisk just gonna stand there and quickly get taken down. Ultralisk finally turning around, and now you see Ultralisk going after the probes. The probes getting taken down once again, and now the Ultralisk turning around. Zealots once again warping in, and Stalkers and Archons unable to really get within any combat range. Those Archons would be the major source of damage as they do deal some splash damage against those Ultralisks. Ultralisks finally falling apart to the biological bonus of that psionic shockwave, but the Nexus has been taken down over here as those Ultralisks continue to swipe apart at many of the main base at this starting location over here at the 12 o'clock location. Production-wise, transitioning into roaches once more. Those Ultralisks have nowhere to run, and that's going to be a problem for them as they're trying to deal more damage here. Perhaps they're going to be able to get around. Stalkers are trying to outrun them, and very nicely done. An emergency evac of Overlords able to pick up and save 2 of those Ultralisks. Army-wise, 3,800 versus 2,625. Mass creep tumors once again being laid down in order to spread that creep highway and creep love. We see some Ultralisk down over here. Level 1 attack upgrades with level 2 on the way in just a matter of seconds there, as we also have these roaches and these Zerglings on the low ground. So the Zerglings should be able to just stop many of those stalkers, but with those Archons in the mix of that army, able to deal 43 damage, essentially one-shotting many of those Zerglings. That's going to be a problem. And now Ultralisk dropping from the sky, able to just chase, and now a very, very nice surround on those Zerglings, just dealing a lot of damage back and forth. Ultralisk and roaches continuing to push. Ultralisk dealing so much damage. Some of those Ultralisk will get taken down as reinforcements are coming in. Another Psystorm coming right on top of this group. No tunneling claws, so those roaches cannot burrow to regenerate quickly. They do have burrow though, and now a very, very low hit point army sitting outside that front door with the Psystorm. Now I believe one roach was taken down, and there we go. You can see those roaches, how quickly they regenerate. More Psystorm coming in though, and oh, one Ultralisk quickly getting taken down again. And now these Ultralisk have better find a better place to hide for themselves than outside within combat range or Psystorm range of those High Templars. Ultralisk once again on the move, very, very low hit point. Ultralisk down to 7 hit points. Gonna get, oh no, not taken apart yet. Finally gets taken down there as mass roaches now come in, and those roaches are really what's dealing the damage as that Ultralisk is trying to soak up a lot of it. Another Psystorm coming in once again as a lot of low hit point roaches currently sitting here. Now going after that pylon, needs to deal damage towards this Archon. This Archon is going to have its way with these roaches as there is that slight splash damage. However, no, too many roaches. I spoke too soon. The roaches were not tightly packed enough for that splash damage to really do anything. And then one Archon quickly getting 5 kills off of one Psystorm. And now probes being transferred over once again. So game still looking like it could be looking like it's in the controls of HayPro. HayPro should have a very, very strong lead, should be able to take down many of these production buildings, but Chita Prime just holding on just ever so barely. We did see one fungal growth hitting many of those units there, and now Chita Prime says GG. So Chita Prime fighting his way back against HayPro here on Metalopolis. Or fighting his way through after trying to do a forge cannon rush, and that was not successful. The problem with doing a forge cannon rush, especially against Zerg, is that you cannot build on and warp in onto a creep. So as soon as there was cannons here, and then only a pylon here, by Liquid HayPro, by placing his spine crawlers here, which was a very, very brilliant move, I must add, he was able to deal damage towards these photon cannons. And since he was out of sight range, even though those photon cannons warped in more quickly, those spine crawlers, the photon cannons couldn't damage the spine crawlers. So that's really what set the pace for the game. HayPro then knew that he could power drone for a little bit, as Chita Prime was also expanding with his own Nexus as well. Some people might have said that Chita Prime should have gone for, instead for a 4-gate push, for a little bit more aggression, and that would have been a little bit more all in, and it may have worked if HayPro wasn't trying to, or wasn't suiciding overlords in order to get sight. HayPro would not have tried to take this third base if unless he saw Chita Prime trying to take a second, and because of that, he knew that he had enough time to power drone and develop a very, very, very strong economy. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between Chita Prime and Liquid HayPro here on Metalopolis.